Yo,
Hello, 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 hello.
hello.
Hey,
Hey, I muted you, Mario, as soon as you came in.
and awesome.
Okay. All right. So, welcome to Fuck Your Thoughts. And tonight's episode will be the beginning of a new ending. And on tonight's episode, we will be conversing with Jamarrea Anderson, the inaugural Mr. Morehouse, about new beginnings and healthy endings, navigating collegiate life, and what's to come for him. And of course, we will get off task, talk our sass, and crack jokes in our West Tennessee lingo. And good afternoon, LJ.
Hosted by LJ.
Hosted by hey girl. Oh, so um, hey Marie. Can I call you
Hey,
Marie?
that's fine.
If you want to be known as Jamarrea.
Girl, Marie, which one? I be
It don't
calling you
matter.
for
What they
forever.
call you at school, Jamarrea?
Jam.
Ah,
Jam for us.
man.
Come on, Jam. Jam.
Damn.
Teddy Jam for me. Dun, 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 dun,
All right, so we just gonna do our usual what we usually do. Oh, and for those of you who do not know, I am Jamarie's mother. So this is near and dear to me in my heart
dun.
space.
Hey,
Uh,
hey, hey, hey.
so Feast, you got a word.
Yes, I do.
All
Let
right.
me find. Oh, the word of the day is yin. Yen. Well, the Merriam-Webster word of the day for December 28, 2025 is yin. It is a noun, and what it means is a yin is a strong desire, urge, or craving for something. And the example that they gave was after dinner, the family went out for ice cream to satisfy their yin for something sweet. This is a new word because it used to be yearn.
You know they be making us stuff.
Right, yin. I thought yin is like yin and yang. Y-N.
How is this?
Y-I-N.
How was it? How was that spelled?
This is spelled Y-E-N.
I ain't never heard of that word. You ever heard of that word, Mario?
No, I don't think so.
You know,
Nah,
Americans speak
they yin.
English. This is a new word. English be trying to bastardize other languages and use it for something else because
Yeah,
I
because
am
the yen is definitely the Japanese like money currency.
Because
exactly.
Yeah.
right.
Exactly that part. Okay, Jamarrea, right. I didn't even think about that. Yin.
I just thought yin and yang.
I did too. I did too.
But I thought that yin was spelled Y-I-N.
It is, but yen for money is yen, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, American, but
Right.
not
Learn
American.
something every day.
English trying to bastardize some shit, but okay.
So before I do my card, I'm gonna tell y'all that intro song was by what's the guy name? I always forget his name. Ashley
Ashley
from
Witherspoon.
3G Beats. And it was called Earth, Wind, and Fire Can't Hide the Love Sample. So I put the link in the conversation.
Mm.
And so tonight I shuffled and I pulled change from my activation or oracle deck. And the frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both
Mm,
inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new. Is it not?
okay, a change is gonna come.
It's always gonna come. So I'm gonna read two of these questions back here, and then we can answer them,
Okay,
and then go into our questions and conversation.
gotcha.
All right.
So it says to the try this at the end says take a moment to go inside yourself and look at your life. Do you move easily with change or do you resist it? And how have you changed since last year?
Mm,
So I guess each one of us can I'll answer the first one. Do I move
mhm,
easily with change? Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. It depends on what that change is. I
mhm,
can usually go with the flow and adapt, but if it's like a big life change, then that takes me a little processing for. And then, have I changed since last year? I would like to say yes. I think I have changed since last year. I'm more open
mhm,
and with my emotions. So I think
mhm.
in that
Okay.
aspect. So, Jamaria, do you move easily with change?
Sometimes it really depends on the situation. I think kind of like you said, bigger changes can take a little adjusting, but I don't think I fight against it. I don't think I resist it unless it's something that's like against who I am as a person. Outside of that,
Mhm,
I feel
Right.
like change is pretty beneficial because it puts you in positions to grow as a person. And in terms of if I'm different from who I was at this point in time last year, I would say yes. I'm definitely getting ready to make like one of the biggest transitions of my life, really. So I think my mindset around the way that I maneuver throughout my day to day is very different as opposed to where I was a year ago. Because a year ago, I knew I have one more year of undergrad to go through. I'm not really worried about what's happening next, not on the level that I am now. So, yeah,
mhm.
I would say I'm definitely a little different.
Okay. What
So
about
you
you?
finna make a big change, big change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I think I like pretty much like what y'all said. If it's something a big change, it take me a little bit. I know it's hard for me to change when it comes to me personally. Uh, I be feeling like I be getting attacked
You
when
feel
it
like
just people.
what?
I be feeling like I be getting attacked when people be giving me critical feedback that can allow me to grow and change as a person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm.
I
I
mean,
can.
most people probably
Yeah,
be taken
yeah.
aback a little bit, like, "Damn, how you gonna tell me?" You know, I already know that.
Right. I know. I just goddamn it got to
You tell
change
me
and do
what
it
to
when I
do.
want to, man. Please.
Right, get back
Right. Let me do it in my own time.
for
But
real.
as far as a year ago, I have definitely changed. I feel more settled into who I am and being okay with that. and not feeling like I had to hop and bop to make everybody else around me feel comfortable or to make other people feel comfortable. Right now, it's about my comfortability, if
Right.
that makes sense.
It makes a
So,
lot of
yeah.
sense.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Okay, okay, okay. All right, Marie. Hey, Marie.
Hi, mother.
I know this feels so awkward.
Don't
I
be.
want to cuss and talk crazy, but I feel like I got to be so a little, what's the word? I got to keep it tight.
We gotta keep it.
I don't think that's the case.
I I know you grown, Jamar, but it's different because you grown. Like you grown.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember
I,
little Jamarrea.
okay, right. That's what I was just telling him earlier, and I was like, I was talking about respecting him as a man, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, even though I look at him and I admire the man that he has become, but when I look at him and look at his face and look at his
Mm-hmm.
eyes, I can still see little bitty Marie. You know what I'm saying? Even though
Mm-hmm.
I know he's not little bitty Marie clearly, but his eyes on his face that's the only thing on his face that never changed
Right.
was his eyes. So
Mm-hmm. He's
that's
still
just
your baby in the eyes. Oh,
yes.
because the eyes are the window to the what people?
So
So.
all
Mm-hmm.
right, so we're gonna ask you some questions, Mario. You know how it go.
Right. Do you want to give us the opening and
Tell us about you.
introduction of yourself?
Okay. So I am Jamarrea Anderson, senior psychology major with a minor in educational studies from Jackson, Tennessee. I'm giving you my Morehouse intro. This is how we introduce ourselves when we're speaking to new people or just in bigger spaces. But
Okay.
um and I currently serve as the inaugural Mr. Morehouse College for the Morehouse College Royal Court. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. My mother is Cammy. So, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Morehouse. Let me get some claps. We ain't got no
Right. I can't it won't let me do
snap.
it anymore.
We
So
probably got to pay for the premium subscription to do
yeah, we just got
sound
the
bites.
free. We ain't got that.
Oh,
Okay, so I have a question for you. The the opening of the description of the show talks about new beginnings and healthy endings. So I want to know, how can you apply that statement to you? Even though you just kind of talked about it with the card and the change,
hmm
but how do you look at new beginnings and healthy endings?
Um, I think whenever I want to end something, regardless of what it may be, a chapter in my life, a moment in time, I always try to do it in a way that is healthy or in a way that provides, I guess you could call it closure regardless of like the circumstance. So like my relationship to the school that I attend right now, even if that does change and become something else in the future, the undergraduate relationship that I have with the college is going to conclude on May 17th. So I have to kind of prepare myself to mentally shift away from being in that space of, okay, I'm here as a student, because the next time I come back to the college, I won't necessarily be a student. I'm either going to be a professional or just a graduate. But I look at that type of situation, or just any type of situation of ending off anything with, some type of impact, but at the same time walking away from it with a sense of growth, knowing that I was in this space for a certain amount of time, regardless of how long it may have been. And at the end of it, I took something out of that. Like, what's my reflection on what this space has done for me and how it's allowed me to change and grow as a person. And then in terms of new beginnings, I think it's more so just taking the best qualities of myself, or realistically, not even just the best qualities of myself, but everything that is me, and being comfortable with showing up in whatever the new space is as that person, as
Mm,
opposed to trying to attune myself to whatever it is this new space is that I'm trying to fit into. And I had to pause myself like during this past semester because I caught myself doing that, trying to change and
mm,
shift who I was a little bit to fit this new role, this new position, this new title, to ensure that, everything went smoothly. When in the end, all I had to do was continue to come and be myself, and realizing that now, I think I needed to have that, like that opportunity to see this is what it feels like to try to change you to fit into this space. And it doesn't
mm,
feel good. So that kind of reaffirmed, I preach and push towards everybody that I encounter, show up as your authentic self in all the spaces that you enter. And because I was not doing that fully,
mhm,
it had some sort of it was a more stressful type of semester for me. On top of the other things that went into it, but that primarily not really always being the fullness of who I was the entirety of the time of being within that space kind of threw me off a little bit. I still had a good semester overall academically, but just from a social standpoint, I kind of held myself back and was a little more reserved as opposed to continuing to be who I would be on a regular basis.
So let me ask you this: how did you know that you weren't being yourself? Like what? I mean, like what prompted you to be like, oh my gosh, this is not who I am. Hold up,
Let me
let me
stop.
get this.
Honestly,
Let me reel this in and get it. Be me.
Honestly, I don't know.
Mm,
Because I didn't have the realization seriously until I got home. Like,
mm,
and I reflected on the semester and what the semester was for me. I can
gotcha.
say that like I stayed down there for Thanksgiving, and
Mm,
I kind of got like really sick. But I don't think
mm,
it was like I was like actually sick from like flu or something like that. It was just like my body was not wanting to do anything. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to go nowhere. It was more like almost like a spiritual type of sickness. Like I was
mm,
really tethered to being in my room and not wanting to go do things and engage with people. And I couldn't figure out what that was about. And by the time that wore off, it was time
mhm,
to come home. And
mm,
just looking back at that, I feel like that was my sign, and I didn't really pay attention to it. I thought I was just sick.
gotcha.
I realized like
Maybe
my throat would hurt, and
rest.
looking at it, I probably did need to just rest. But at the same time, I didn't do anything that week but rest because of
Hmm.
that. So I think it was a mix of that on top of me kind of holding my tongue a little bit and not really speaking my truth in a lot of different spaces. And
Mm,
it caused a little bit of a blockage for me. But
gotcha.
it's kind of flown off, and I've gotten rid of that.
Okay, okay. So let me ask you. While we're on the subject of, I know you said that you try to leave every space, with closure. Can you explain the importance of not burning bridges and maintaining proper closure whenever leaving one situation or one person going to the next?
Yeah. So whenever
Or
leaving
explain the
situations,
importance of it, because some people just
yeah,
burn bridges and be like, "Fuck it,
yeah,
I'm one of them people. I burn a bridge, and be
yeah,
like, I will never talk to your
Oh,
ass."
I don't need them no more anyway.
yeah.
But seeing that you're in a professional setting and you
Mhm.
are moving around and meeting people, can you just explain
Yeah.
the importance
I
of
just
not
need, I
burning
like
bridges?
when you always say your connections, and I know
Yeah.
Right.
you're big on your connections. So how do you keep those intact?
So when it comes down to like keeping your bridges together or not necessarily burning them as you leave, you may not cross that bridge too often as you leave a space or a person, but you don't necessarily have to burn it because your network is your network, is what they teach us. But at the
Mm,
same time, something that I'm learning is that can be true, but at the same time, that network is only as strong if they are consistently pouring into you just as much as you may be pouring into them.
So
You can have
hello.
the biggest network that you can, but that does not make you automatically rich. A lot of the times, it actually puts you in a position to where you have to do a little more work because if you're not
Mm,
striving to maintain those relationships or keep in contact with those individuals, you can lose those bridges not because you burned them, but because you didn't maintain them. The maintenance of the bridge wore down, and now the bridge is falling apart. So I think
Mhm.
when leaving certain spaces, it's not going to always be a matter of burning bridges. It's more so how well do you maintain that bridge? Even if you aren't going over and crossing that bridge too often, how often are you, checking in with these individuals that may have been pivotal for you during the time of you being in undergrad, for example,
Mhm.
or taking it. I know you asked me, what did you say, Mama? The connections.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's important to have those because you never know when you're going to need people or when someone may need you or when an
Mhm.
opportunity may be very beneficial for you in the end, regardless
Right.
of where it's coming from and who it's coming from. It may be something that can be of use for you in the future to help push you further in your career or help pull somebody else up that may in turn push you forward just because you've helped them. But
Mhm.
at the same time, there are also moments where you have to use your discernment a little bit, not even really a little bit, a lot, just to make sure that the bridges that you are trying to maintain are beneficial. Because there's
Mhm.
no use in holding on to toxic spaces. Like I know, like when I had my first job, I was working at Sky Zone. I
Mario was so dedicated to Sky Zone.
I was very dedicated to Sky Zone. But at the same time, I was a little lazy towards the end just a little bit.
Mhm.
And it costed me my job. But at the same time, it was also time for me to go, is what I
Mhm.
realized. I didn't need to be in that space anymore. A majority of the people that I had came in with were gone. Not to say that that's an excuse for me to want to leave, but it wasn't a space that was conducive of me trying to push myself forward, essentially.
Mhm.
It wasn't moving anything for me. So it was time for me to go. And that's all that that was for me. And once I realized nothing was done out of malice, there is no bad blood there. But at the same time, that's also just not a bridge that I keep. It's not a bridge that
Mhm.
I continue to put any type of effort into simply because that space served its time for me.
Right. Right.
And I
Right.
think that's where the discernment comes in, knowing when a space has served its time or did its purpose for you, and it's time for you to come on and move forward and do something different. Utilizing whatever skills you might have learned there, sure, but
Mhm.
taking it into a new space for you to continue to elevate.
Okay. So to add on to that, I was reading an article, and they were saying where they believe that we're going to start moving away from networking because they're finding out that networking is people. You're basically kind of begging people to see you, and we're moving into a space now where your work and you stand out based off of who you are, and people will see that
Hmm.
if
I
you do.
still think that when you networking, you can never not have networking
Right.
because
Right.
it's
No, I'm not
always
saying
going to
that.
be who. So, to an extent, who you know.
Yes, it is.
I
And I'm
think
not saying that it's not going to be a thing, but they were saying, I was just reading where, and they brought up the point with a lot of companies that people network and they're just
it
networking
doesn't do
aimlessly.
anything.
Like they have these conferences for you to go, all these people that are graduating engineers go here, but they're saying that now people should focus on who they are and the skill set that they bring, and people will recognize that too and call on them.
Because a lot of those
That's very
like
doable
conferences
too.
could be kind of like those, like when I used to do those pop up shops.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And like after so long, I've realized that okay, well, ain't nobody really making money except for the person that's hosting the pop ups,
Right.
because everybody just shopping with each
Hello?
other. So I done paid you. Hey,
Okay.
I done paid you $50 to participate in this pop up shop, but I ain't. I'm taking home -25 because I done spent money shopping with everybody else. So I didn't, I said, so that's like one of the reasons why I really quit doing a lot of pop up shops, because it wasn't
Hmm.
it wasn't any money being made.
But I think
Right.
it really depends on where you are
That
within
part
Hmm.
too.
for those two, because certain
Yeah.
spaces don't get the attention that others would. Because some pop up
Right.
Hmm.
shops in Atlanta be real big, and
Yeah. And
I don't
it
know how
depends
much
on
they
what
pay.
you're selling too.
Uh,
I say,
uh,
and it depends on what you're selling and what the
yeah,
Hmm.
audience is.
yeah, all of
Yeah.
that. But hitting off of the article that you were talking about, I think the skill sets and who you, not necessarily who you are, but what it is that you can do is becoming a bigger thing. And I'm seeing that become a bigger thing in a lot of spaces. And even for
Hmm.
like the spaces that I manage and run right now within my position, or not even just as Mr., but within some of the other organizations that I've started where I serve as a senior leader. I emphasize to the people that work with me and the people that work under me that I'm not keeping you around just to have you fill a title. You
Mm.
have a job to do.
Mhm.
And if you can't do that job, then you don't serve any purpose within the organization because you're now holding us back. You're
Mhm.
dead weight. And if you can't carry your weight, someone else has to pick it up for you. So a lot of companies are realizing that,
Mhm.
yes, your network matters, but at the same time, what you put on your resume, being able to actually do those things is just as important as who you know. Because
Yes.
I can pull you into a situation or I can pull you into a position because the boss's friend knows you and they said they recommended you. Cool, but when you get here, you don't know how to do anything that the job requires of you. You're in my way. Now I have to do your work and my work because you don't know what you're doing. So being able to actually do the skills that you list is very important now, or I really
Mhm.
feel like there wasn't a point where it wasn't important. I think people were just more willing to work with people when they didn't have the
Mhm.
skill set versus now, if you don't
They
have the
checking
skill
for
set,
you.
it's moving a little quicker.
Right.
The economy, if you don't have the skill set to do what you need to do to produce at a faster rate, then you're in the way. You're holding the company back, or whatever organization, you're holding them back because you're not functioning at the rate that they need you to. So now where our production is low because you're not functioning how you need to. So that's very
Mm.
important.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. That's basically what the article said, Jamarrea.
Yeah,
Thank you for clarification.
definitely, definitely.
Okay. Kimmy, you got the next question?
Um, you were talking about some of your accomplishments at the school. So I want to know, like, what led you to wanting to initiate like some of those activities that you are involved in.
Everything that I've done at Morehouse, for the most part, I participated with Freshman Stroll and then I coached Freshman Stroll. My participation with it was because I was leaving. I stopped playing football when I went down there. So for the longest, I've been used to playing like team sports and being around team oriented things. So when I left that space, I kind of had like a semi identity crisis because I was like, okay, what do I do with myself now? And then Stroll came up as an opportunity for us to participate in. And I've been dancing and doing all types of whatever else, step and all other things throughout my life. So I took that opportunity. They picked me to be on the team and I participated. That filled that void for me. But I realized that it was deeper than just being on a team, because within that space, it was a lot more intimate because there's now, instead of being a team of 50, 60 people, there's only 11 of us and two coaches. And whatever
Mhm.
alumni decide to come back and talk to us for the day of. But that space was my first family space on campus. And that
Mhm.
pushed me towards wanting to continue to get more opportunities like that out of Morehouse. But at the same time, also pushed me towards wanting to see a little more progression at the college. So moving from that, I ended up coaching, and the team that I coached ended up winning their stroll off with me and one of my other brothers. We coached together. That was another opportunity for us to kind of continue to stay in that family oriented space because we only had 9 on our team, plus some bonus kids that were like managers and things of that nature that stuck around with us. But after that, a lot of my work shifted from the family side of things, because if people don't know that about me, but I am, or a lot of people don't see that from me too often, but I'm very family and people oriented a lot of the times. I like to help. I like to make sure everyone feels included, make sure that you feel like you belong in the space. But once I kind of shifted, not necessarily losing the family aspect or losing that aspect, but kind of turned it into a more entire campus type of thing. The psychology department at Morehouse is a great department, but at the same time, we have areas where we could have some improvement. And
Mhm.
the first thing that I was introduced to was the Association of Black Psychologists. One of my friends from high school is currently the president of her chapter at Tennessee State. And when I
What's
first
her
heard about it,
name?
she was like, "Huh?"
What's her name?
Madison, Madison.
Wow.
Yeah, Madison's the president of her chapter at TSU.
I was just getting
Madison, the one who went to the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
the
Y'all was
real
really close
cute dark skinned
friends.
girl.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go Madison. She was one of my students at the Boys and Girls Club. Okay. Come on.
But yeah, so she before I think this was our sophomore year. She showed me what it was. I asked her questions about it, and then I did my own research and continued to dig deeper into why I hadn't seen anything from Morehouse regarding that organization. Simply because we are an all males institution full of black students, black men at that, in the psychology
Hmm.
field doesn't have a very high representation of black men practicing. So it baffled me that we wouldn't have an organization of that nature. And as I did a little more research, I realized or I learned that we have some ties to the organization, but we've never had our own student chapter that was there consistently. We've had representation from Morehouse at the within the organization, but we've never had a student chapter. So I said, okay, we're gonna take that on and let that be the first thing that I seriously contribute to the campus. But at the same time, I was also working with counseling services to establish a way for us to push mental health services and advocacy on behalf of mental health things on campus, or not mental health things, but mental health advocacy and activities, different types of engagements to further pull students out of their rooms and onto campus, ways just to get them to kind of talk to each other more, but at the same time also recognize that counseling services is on campus and they do provide services for you to come check out. But we did those two things. And for both of those areas, it was a mix of my passion for mental health on top of wanting to see the campus progress, wanting to see more, and wanting to see us grow as a whole. Another group that I got engaged with, or not engaged with, but another group that I got more involved with or learned of was Silence is Shame. They're a nonprofit that focuses on mental health, suicide prevention, and things of that nature. And they started a Silence to Shame University ambassador training program. I was a part of their inaugural cohort of ambassadors as well. So it was kind of like a triple headed dragon coming to life at the same time. It was a very interesting space to be in, honestly, because it was so many different things. They all had the same thing in common in terms of being a space that was designed to liberate black people's minds and help them, be more receptive to receiving help while also learning more about themselves intrinsically. So that was the core motivation behind it. And then knowing the campus that I'm at, black men are the least likely to go seek help, the least likely to go want to
Hmm.
try to change themselves and better themselves if it's not in an area of physicality or just to have higher status. So I wanted to kind of switch that narrative and kind of give us a little bit more intentionality behind the way that we look after ourselves and the way that we take care of ourselves. And that became the birth of Silence and Shame Ambassadors, the Morehouse Mental Health Ambassadors, and the Morehouse College Association of Black Psychologists Student Circle, which now has national recognition with the National Association. They're looking to do some pretty cool things with us on campus soon, so I'm excited, and we've developed a really strong relationship with them as well. So it's also exciting just to see me being a chartering president of an organization and being able to have a relationship with the national president as well as the southern regional representative because of the work that we've done on our campus to try to make this organization stronger, but also just to change the status of the campus in terms of how we feel about ourselves from a mental health standpoint.
Hmm.
But all of that pushed me towards Mr. Morehouse College in my junior year. Now, with Mr., I've been an RA for 3 years. RA is residential advisor, so I've been working with the housing department, the Department of Housing and Residential Education, for about 3 years at Morehouse as a residential advisor, and I've been working with freshmen all 3 of those years. My freshman year, there's an organization called the Residence Hall Association. and they are responsible for freshman stroll. They're responsible for all of our like Mister or not Mister. We don't do Misters in terms of the men at Morehouse, with the exception of Mister Morehouse College now. But
Mhm.
they basically cater to the freshman experience. So all of our freshman royalty from Spelman come over and they'll vie for a position within the houses, and then they'll run for Miss RHA as a whole or Miss Freshman as a whole. And then they're also responsible for like the different house councils that would help cater events and whatever the experience is in the house for whatever house they're presiding over. But we were supposed to have or we talked about having a Mr. RHA my freshman year, because normally Spelman's RHA does a Mr. and Miss RHA competition for us to compete in and participate in, but they didn't do it that year. So they talked about doing it at Morehouse, and it ended up falling through the cracks, and we never got to do it. I was planning on participating in that, and from that moment, I told myself that I wanted to make sure that we had that type of representation on campus, because Clark has a Mr. and Miss CAU, Morris Brown has a Mr. and Miss NBC, Spelman has a Miss Spelman. They used to have a Mr. Blue and White, but they got rid of the position after, from what I know, only having five. I
Mhm.
believe it might have been more than five, but I really think it was only five. So that kind of inspired me. And then just talking to some of the alum that have also pushed for it to happen. As far as I know, for at least the past 10 years before we got it approved, it had been asked and denied every year. So really with that one, it was really just pushing to have a larger way to showcase, or not even just larger way, but having more opportunity for students to showcase the skills that they have, showcase the different ways student leadership can look on an all male campus. Because a lot of the people look at pageantry and automatically assume, okay, that's a thing for women, that's something that women do primarily, when that's not fully true. Yes, historically that's been the truth, but that's because of sexual objectification for the most part. People were putting
Mhm.
women on stages to look at them because they wanted to look at them, not because they wanted to see what they were really talented in. Now,
Mhm.
within this space,
Mm.
we amplify pageantry so that there is a feel of, what do you call it? I guess heightened respect around it, in terms of this is not just a beauty pageant. That's where it is. Historically, pageants have been about beauty for the most part. But now you have
Mhm.
it to where there's pageants that are more service oriented. You have it to where there's more mission motivated pageant and things of that nature, to where the people aren't getting on stage and just putting forth, this is me and I look really good. It's this
I
is me
think
and this
that's
is what
good
I'm
though, because it
what.
kind of takes that y'all put it like that y'all are putting it to where it's not just a beauty pageant. That way, it's just
Yeah.
not super
It's not just
objectification
centered
of
on
women.
exactly.
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
that's good.
Mhm.
Exactly. And I wanted to kind
Yeah.
of, when it came down to Mr., it was more so the students at Morehouse don't just want to go through SGA's pipeline to become president. Some people aren't that political and don't want to get that engaged with politics for real. On the other hand, you
Mhm.
have CASA, which is our Campus Alliance for Student Activities. They put together all of the large scale activities that we do on campus, which is cool, but you also have students who don't necessarily want to do that either. In the
Mhm.
middle of that, you normally have a royal court. There's other factors that play a role in terms of student leadership on campus and the people that have some sort of influence and things of that nature. But to me, we were missing that middle piece of a royal court. Yes, we had our Miss Maroon and White court, which is on their 89th Miss Maroon and White currently, but we
And I'm gonna
never
say this
had.
with the Miss Maroon and White. When I came to the game,
Mm.
those ladies was walking. Do you hear me? They walk. I don't know how long they've been practicing. I came home. I practiced it. They walk. I said, "Baby, you got to get them walk down pat." And then you said, "Okay, then, sis, I see you. You better."
Yeah. Yes, I tell people all the time there is no walk like an MMW walk.
They ate that walk up. I was like, "Okay, then, yes, ma'am."
But for us, I really just wanted to give the guys an opportunity to have a way to represent the college that wasn't strongly political, but also wasn't necessarily forcing you to be in front of the entire student body all the time. Well, yes, this position kind of does do that, but it also gives you an opportunity to have a little diversity within our leadership, and also
Mhm.
gives us the opportunity to put ourselves in different national areas to represent the college in ways that have not been done before. The ladies do normally go off and represent us at national competitions and things of that nature. And the current queen that we have, Stony McKnight, just won the Miss NBCA Hall of Fame, which is the National Black Colleges
Congratulations.
Association.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's both our MMW and the 40th, the 89th Miss Marina White and the 40th Miss NBCA at the same time right now, which is
Mm.
something that I think she's the third MMW to do so far. So really proud of her
So
about
she
that.
competes nationally against all the HBCUs,
It's
or
really
what?
whoever comes to to that competition, honestly.
Okay.
But there was a number
That-
of different HBCUs that were there. Yes, there's
Okay. So it's kind of
another,
like the Miss America, like
of
essentially
the
kind of sort of.
college.
okay, gotcha.
There's another one that happens in the spring, this Mr. and Miss HBCU competition that both of us
Okay.
have the opportunity to go to, but I'm not going to that one this year. Think I told them I want to kind of focus on continuing to lay a foundation for what this looks like. And as
Hmm.
we get ready to bring in our next set of guys that are going to compete, I want to make sure that we have a very solid foundation to drive off of so that they have an understanding of what they're stepping into and how serious
Right.
that they have to take not only this role, but the legacy that they're about to get ready to uphold because they'll just be the second court. We don't have 89 years behind our name. We're still kind of
Hmm.
proving ourselves, still kind of showing to everybody else that, this is a position of some worth. We can
Hmm.
come in and make some change happen and make it be very inspirational for those that are younger than us and things of that nature. But realistically, I wanted to make this position happen because I wanted to continue to push the campus forward. I think we had gotten, in my opinion, we had gotten too comfortable with being complacent and
Hmm.
adjusting ourselves for respectability politics. And I just couldn't. I don't know. I couldn't keep watching that, knowing that there's so many students on campus that have so many very interesting, not even just interesting, but very intricate stories that make up who they are. And they
Hmm.
never get an opportunity to showcase that. That's really what this was for me, giving black men the opportunity to showcase how they got to where they are, giving them the opportunity to showcase what it means to have black boy joy and what that looks like as you evolve into a man and continue
Hmm.
to show up regularly. So that's where we are.
So do
Also
you
So
giving us
consider
a space
yourself
to,
a
yeah.
agent of change?
huh?
Go ahead,
I,
Fish.
no, I was just gonna say. So do you consider yourself an agent of change, and may have what has brought you to be an agent of change? Can your back something in your background, or what made you become an agent of change?
Truthfully, I would say I strive to make an impact.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily know that yes, I can be a change agent or an agent of change, but that's not always my goal.
Hmm.
More than likely, the goal for me is to make an impact. If that inspires some sort of change, then
Hmm.
that's kind of a bonus for me. It's the same way I look at like going through life. My goal is to make an impact in every space that I touch, regardless of what that looks like, or regardless of the type of impact that is. Nor, well, let me rephrase that: a positive impact in all of
Hmm.
the spaces that I touch. And if that inspires or provokes some sort of change within that space, then that's the added benefit for me. But I would say it comes from my upbringing. To be honest, I think
Hmm.
I've seen my mother work hard for every year that I've been alive. So that's 22 years now,
Hmm.
and at no point in time have I ever seen her give up on us or walk out on us or stop trying to do for us. So that was like
Hmm.
my primary and has been and continues to be my primary reasoning for wanting to make an impact in all the spaces that I go into. Because regardless of if we were in a rocky space, if we were in an okay space, if we were in a good space, if me and her had argued that day or whatever the case may have been, there
Hmm.
was never a moment where she stopped trying or stopped caring. Not to say
Right.
that she was the only person that was doing that for me, but she was the most consistent person doing that for me.
Mm.
when I go into these different spaces, I strive to be that person that showcases that I care, showcases that I'm not going to give up on the things that I care about personally or the dreams that I have. It's the things that I don't make sacrifices for are the dreams that I have, the goals that I seek to accomplish, and the people that I care about. Unless
Mm,
it's like obviously a sacrifice looks different depending on, what that situation is. But making it to where I cannot provide or I cannot put my best self forward for those situations or for those people. Um, but yeah, I try to do that with everybody. That's why, like, when me being an RA, I am working with freshmen, and then even with like coaching stroll and all the different areas that I'm in, and even right now with my new contestants for Mister, I kind of look at all of these people like my kids the same way I look at my siblings like my kids a little bit.
mhm.
That's what I was
You know,
saying. Do you like you looking at them like you the oldest? Because you are the oldest child
I
on
am.
both sides.
I am.
Mhm,
That's how I approach a lot of situations. In all the spaces, I'm always a big brother first,
mhm,
and I've picked that up even within when I worked at TR White for the 2 years that I worked at TR White. Those were my kids, my younger siblings, all of that rolled into one because I am an older brother. I am the eldest child, so and I've always been that. So that to
mhm.
me, in every space that I enter, I'm really a big brother first.
So you big brother Jamarrea, big
That is
brother James,
a crazy way to put that, but okay.
big brother Jamarrea. Sir, yes, sir.
Let me ask you this,
Oh, you're gonna
Maria.
get me canceled.
What does peace what is peace to you? Like I always ask everybody to come out here, what does peace look like to you?
Um, hmm, Stability.
Mhm,
Um, and being able to be in a space where happiness and joy kind of flow on a regular basis.
mhm.
Um, and when I say stability, I only said stability because I mean that in like all aspects. And a lot of people will say stability and think I want to be financially stable, I want to be mentally stable, I want to be stable in all the spaces that I can.
Hello,
What
soul,
is
mind,
it?
body, soul,
Because
spirit.
all of
Exactly.
that plays a role in the way that I'm able to maneuver throughout life. So I feel like peace for me is being stable. I'm not looking for everything to fill my house with. I'm not looking to have the largest house. I'm not looking to have the smallest house. I'm not looking to own everything. I'm not looking to make the most amount of money because I know that if I'm stable, it don't matter how much money I'm making, I'm gonna live within that means of what I can afford and what I can't afford. I don't need to make a whole lot of money to be happy.
Mhm,
That's really what peace is to me: stability and happiness. If I have those two things, then I'm cool. Because the only thing that's gonna make me unhappy 9 times out of 10 is if I'm not stable. And even within instability, I try to maintain a general feeling of happiness because that's gonna put me in the best mindset to get back towards being stable, back
mhm,
towards being in a space that feels like equilibrium to me.
mhm.
Okay. Nigga little homeostasis. One more question, Maria.
Okay.
What is some advice that you received that you will never forget?
Mm, that's a good question. Um, think it's definitely a mixture between showing up as your authentic self because the only person whose opinion truly matters about the things that you do is yours,
Mhm,
and also understanding that the only person that you're living your life for truly is yourself. And when you have people that depend on you and things of that nature, then that looks a little different. But at the same time, knowing that those that depend on you are okay and in a good space also makes sure puts you in a space of being okay and in a good space. So by default, you're still kind of living your life for you. you may have to do for others, but you're still living your life for you. Um, and I know that looks different once you get into like real parenthood and things of that nature, and it kind of
Mhm.
feels different from time to time. But I think a lot of the times people get so caught up in parents living for their kids that they don't
Mhm.
realize that parents still have to live their life for themselves. And the best way for you to be my parent is to make sure that you're also living your life for yourself. Because if you're not happy, we not gonna be happy. If you not in a good space, whoever's depending on you not gonna be in a good space.
Mhm. We
Um,
literally just said that the other day, Kim.
I know.
what else? And also just striving to do your best at every moment in time. I think understanding that perfection, the idea
Mhm.
of perfection in the way that society paints it is not real. And the
Mhm.
most perfect that you're going to be is who you are in that moment in time, and who you are in every moment in time that you look into the mirror and someone tries to devalue who it is that you are, or a situation may feel like it's devaluing who it is that you are, but realistically you're as perfect as you're going to get. And the best thing that you can do in that situation is, or in time, not even just in a specific situation, but just from time to time, day to day, is show up as who you are, do your best, and keep going. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna come home and probably reflect on what your day was. And that's the other thing, reflecting. Reflection has been
Mhm.
so key for me ever since I really started doing it. I know, like when my sophomore year, I would always recommend to people to journal and do all types of other things to reflect on their day, but I did not truly start reflecting on my day until last year when I started trying to do Mister and trying to get it together, because it helped me think clearer when everything was all up in the air and all over the place. But
Mhm.
really being a person that practices what you preach too, because off of what I just said, really, knowing that I can tell people to do or try these things and it works for them, and that I'm also not actively trying those things at the same time, or not doing those things. I may have done it in the past, but I've lost my practice. Being consistent. That's
Hmm.
it. Being consistent is a big thing, but also understanding that there's a level of discernment that comes into consistency, because sometimes you have to know that, okay, consistency may not be every day. Every
Mhm.
consistency might be, I can go every day for this amount of time, but next week might be a little heavy. I can go maybe once or twice a day, or I can maybe
Mhm.
go maybe once or twice a week, or one, 2 or 3 times a week, as opposed to it being every day. But as long as I'm continuing to go,
Mhm.
it's not always going to be a big leap forward. It's sometimes real small steps. Sometimes you might have to crawl forward a little bit, but as long as you get back up and keep going, that's consistency. That's intentionality.
Hello. Sometimes you got to go in your room and cry. What you say, Kim? Slide down
Slide down the shower.
and cry. As
For
long
real.
as you get out that motherfucker and keep on going.
And keep going.
Do you hear me? I look, I seen this thing where this lady was talking about don't cry in your car because your car will pick up that energy. I said that's
Well,
what
that
happened to my Dodge. Oh my God, Lee. I'm sorry,
Keisha
Keith.
sad.
Hot man, do you hear me?
Keisha was sad. Keisha said, you finna quit driving me up and down this highway crying, bitch.
Do you hear me? I promise you I was crying. God, Lee, I'm sick of this. No, but for real. Hold on, I had one more question. I think I
okay.
got it. Okay, where'd it go? Uh, actually, no, I don't. The piece, advice.
I think
Oh,
you got it.
huh.
You got respect.
What does respect look like to you? Yeah, what does respect look like to you?
Um,
To give and to receive.
exactly. Respect is caring about who it is that I am at my core, having
Mhm.
an understanding of my morals and the things that I will and will not do, and being aware of the boundaries that I set and being okay with the fact that there are boundaries there. But for me, giving respect is doing all of those things that I just mentioned, but for others. Making sure that I am being intentional about understanding the things that may trigger you, or being intentional about understanding where your boundaries are, what type of morals you have about yourself, the things you are willing to do, the things you are willing to not do. And then always having an open stream of communication between whoever. Communication is a very big thing for me. I feel like it helps the flow of any and everything, from relationships to organizational structure to the flow of an event, the flow of a day sometimes. But being in a space to where you understand that I'm not gonna always automatically know everything that you're thinking about. Because sometimes I may
Mhm.
know you, but I'm not in your head. I'm not in your thoughts.
Mhm.
Sometimes you may have to verbalize, "Hey, I'm not okay with this," or "Hey, this isn't what I wanted you to do," or "I would have liked for you to do this," or whatever the case may have been. But really, just maintaining a very heavy and open communication channel for two people, and then also just respecting, or I'm trying to use define it without using the word, having an understanding of my boundaries, and I'll have an understanding of yours while also still communicating, because things change. Having an understanding of boundaries, being open to communication, and then also knowing that um oh, I had one more thing that was there and it left me. Change, knowing that change is inevitable. Growth happens, or maybe sometimes things decline. But
Mhm.
like, being able to be aware of those changes and being able to communicate those changes, all the three things come together. The boundaries go along with the changes that may occur, but the communication also goes along with the changes in the boundaries, because if something changes for me and now the boundary that I have around something is different a little bit, I have to communicate that. Or if I have it to where something that I feel internally about something is different, and I have to voice that to you or to whoever, because you need to have an understanding of that, or else you may trigger me in a way that I haven't communicated to you yet, and now I'm upset, but you don't know why, and vice versa. Just being
Mhm.
open, but at the same time understanding that there's a level of openness that you can give everybody.
Mm. Jamarrea, you giving me TED Talks.
Really weird.
I actually had to do one of those for I have a class that I took called advocacy in urban schools for my education minor. And in the end of it, you have to write a paper and do a TED talk based on like the topics that we talked about. And for me, I took that as an opportunity to talk about what we talked about in class, but also intertwine some of the things that I learned and do outside of class. And my TED talk was that. I send y'all the video so y'all can watch it.
Yeah,
But
you would do good, like for real, like talking because you explain things so eloquently, and you know how to talk and flow, and
I agree.
your thoughts are coming, and I can understand what you're saying, because some of these folk be talking, I'd be like, huh, what? You're still coming from an intelligent space and a knowledgeable space, but still keeping it in layman's terms where I
right,
can
Right.
understand what you're saying. That is
definitely.
a good sign of a good world talker.
Yeah.
Somebody that, yeah, I'm
Communication
giving,
skills are good.
yeah,
The educator in me.
yeah. You do a very good job.
I agree.
Okay, communication.
Okay. Embarrassing.
That was good, Jamarrie. I enjoyed this.
Me
I'll never
too.
listen.
Me neither, because we shall be out here yapping and just talking. This
You
is
got me
quiet. This is the
teared
quietest we ever been on the show ever.
up. At first, it was a little bit like, "Ooh, I ain't gonna cuss," because this is Mario. But then I was like, "Let me just, you
Man,
making
please
me.
go
I'm
out his
listening.
mama be cussing.
I know, but I still it's Jamarie, like Jamarie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
be
probably
I'm,
cuss just as much as y'all do outside
I
of.
know, you do, but it's just, I'm getting older now, and it's like, oh,
cussing.
Jamarie.
Goofy.
But
Okay.
yes, you did good with it. I enjoyed this. I could listen to you talk for real. So if you start touring and speaking, I buy a ticket for to go
Thank
see you.
you. Thank you. Thank you. I do have my once I get I need to graduate first so I can
Yeah,
pass
yeah,
off
yeah,
some of
yeah,
these responsibilities and things of that nature.
yeah.
But
No
I
rush,
do
no
have
rush.
I have my own plans podcasting wise that I was gonna do some
Yeah,
time
yeah,
ago that kind of got away from me a little bit. It's also kind of some of the stuff that I did during my campaigning. So I
yeah,
kind of got an opportunity to kind of test the waters of what that looks like. And I think it'll go
yeah.
really well once I can get to a space to where I can be really consistent with it. So
Yeah, with
it's
black
coming.
men and stuff, because that's what me and Cammy. That's the whole point of this, like just hearing different perspectives from black. Because we two women and we talk all the time. You know, women
Yeah.
talk, but incorporating, you know, black men. But I see that for you.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
Thank
started
you.
tripping.
that was what that was. I was like, what's the scratching in the background?
ISIS. ISIS tripping sometimes, man. It's okay.
It's all right.
But yeah,
Appreciate
I
I.
agree with everything that she said.
Oh,
So yes, Maria, we do appreciate you taking time and coming on and chit chatting with your mama and your auntie.
yes. This was you inspiring me. Hell, I want to go out and do some shit.
Okay.
I'm for real. You laughing? I'm dead ass serious. You gave me a little boost of confidence.
That's the goal.
Let me get
Right.
my shit together.
Okay. Because it's never too late. You can always do something different with your life.
It is never too late.
That's
It is
something that
late.
I'm very a big advocate on at this point is like the whole carpool was changed. It's never too late to make changes in your life. It's like sometimes you get stuck or
Hmm.
stagnant and you can't when you get stagnant, you just get comfortable and then you just sometimes you sit in that comfortability and you but you're miserable.
Hmm.
Right.
And you hanging on to it because that's all you know.
That's all you know. Yeah. Just like
Hmm.
today, I pulled out my Chakra Nova book and notebook, and I started back into my like working on some stagnation in my chakras,
Hmm.
and that's what they was talking about on the lecture part of it was stagnation and getting out of it. So
Hmm.
I was like, okay, let me utilize some of this information and apply it. But
Okay. And sometimes you start small. Sometimes you here drive a different way to work.
like, it ain't but one way to go,
If
man.
if, if you can't, I'm just saying, like, if you can't just drastically make no change, if you're not a person who likes to make change, do small
Started.
steps
I seen this one thing where it said if you always brush your teeth with your right hand, do it with your left.
with your left hand. Yeah, start
Yeah,
training your brain to get comfortable with uncomfortableness.
It's
yeah.
called breaking the cycle of automation.
There
Breaking the
you go.
cycle of the
Okay,
automatic.
then.
Automatons. That's what Bobby Hemming used to call it. These automatons out here.
I love Bobby Hemmett.
Now we call them NPCs. Bobby Hemming called them automatons.
Don't you start.
Uh oh, it's getting cussed out.
Okay, you better know how to do it. All right, I'm gonna read this. Y'all got anything else y'all need to say?
Nope. Thank you,
Yep.
Jamarie.
Thank
Of
you,
course.
Maria. Love you, Maria.
Love you too.
We are root of your root, soil of your soil, bone of your bone, and blood of your blood. We boldly and graciously thank our ancestors for their guidance with our connection to source, to gaining peace in our mind, protection from monitoring spirits, and the ability to send negativity back to the sender. The wisdom to communicate truthfully from an open heart space and allowing forgiveness to continue in that open heart space, the clarity to see success and accept joy into our lives while sitting in a safe place, the ability to create necessities for health and good energy. We overstand, understand, and understand the strength and power that's being bestowed upon us. We accept the responsibility of the gifts passed down to us. We walk in your strength and power today and every day. Ashe.
Amen. Thank you, Jesus. Y'all know Jesus is the reason for the season. It was his birthday 3 days ago, y'all.
Amen. Bye, man.
Uh,